Today on our show, it's a privilege to introduce you to Lewis Weston, who is the service manager at A Master Mechanic here in Sparks and over on Glendale, and just an absolute quality shop committed to integrity, quality business ethics. And Lewis, thank you for taking your time out to be on our show and help us deliver on our promise, educating consumers one car buyer at a time.
Thanks for having us again, Mitch. Thank you.
One of the core fundamental values over at A Master Mechanic is the reliability factor of a customer's car, and I'll let you share what your take is on that.
Well, absolutely. Our philosophy is the reason we exist is to make sure that customers and their cars are provided for as long as they want their car to work. It's different for every single customer, but that if they want it to go for a long, long time so they don't incur car payments or any additional fees, we are there to take care of those needs and repairs as they arise.
Well, and I think it's really interesting you said as long as they need it to be there, and because you do take the time to you spend the time getting to know your customers' needs, and maybe one person is, I just need to keep this on the road. I don't want to spend any major repair money because I just needed to get me through the next 6 months because I'm getting a new car. But the other person is, I really have this, I'm keeping this car for the next 10 years, and it's really important that it stays on the road. And you help the person understand their specific car's need so that they can account for these things and prepare for them.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about that, if you can, because you do have an inspection process that'll help somebody that is not sure exactly where their car is today get their knowledge base up. So let's talk about your inspection process that you offer.
Well, every car, every time when it comes to the shop, regardless of how minor or major their issues are when they arise, we give it a comprehensive inspection to make sure that they don't have anything else that may need coming up. Ultimately, we don't want them leaving our shop with just a minor repair and then have something else on the car go bad when they drive down the road. Does say, hey, my car was just in the shop. How come you guys didn't notice it?
Well, and then you also give the individual the time to prepare financially for these things that are due down the line here in the near future by giving them an idea of what's coming. The heat, everybody knows it's out there right now, and you can't help but walk outside and get hit by it. It takes an especially great toll on today's vehicles and the fluids in them. So let's share a little bit about what that really does to the breakdown of these component fluids.
Well, there's numerous fluids in the vehicle, of course, as we all know, but the major ones are your oil for your engine and your transmission. They are your hardest working ones, and they work in conjunction with the antifreeze, or the coolant, as most people know it by. With the extreme temperatures that we have, it causes oils to break down their protection properties much quicker.
Well, and thank you for saying that, because if we live in a climate where the ambient temperature is, let's say, 75 degrees year-round, the fluids tend to last longer. You just said it. We live in severe climate where we have extremes in the winter and the summer. And then we still, on top of that, with a large truck community in northern Nevada, have people that are towing and doing other things. How do all of these factors really, affect these fluids?
Well, an oil's property is to transfer heat from internal moving components as well as lubricate them. So if it can't transfer the heat properly, the viscosities break down. How that translates to somebody with a large truck that may be towing their giant boat or their tent trailer or whatever to a campsite, they're working their cars harder, driving on the hills, and with the extreme heat, the heat just can't get out of the systems as quickly and as efficiently as it should, thus the oils break down.
So we're talking about potential long-term catastrophic repairs over the frequency of an oil change, and I really wanted to bring this, especially in this time of the year, to the attention of our community is, we're talking about very inexpensive, comparatively, maintenance schedules, increases in their frequency, minor increases, as opposed to catastrophic failures from this increased wear. So let's talk about some of these oils today. I'll say, 15,000 or 12,000 mile intervals. Let's try to isolate a little bit more for our listeners on kind of more of a, if you're this type of a driver, you may want to have this length of an oil change, and if you're towing, this kind of an oil change, regardless of what the oil is quote unquote rated in consistent ambient temperatures for. What are your kind of recommendations for our different types of consumers?
Well, the different type of consumers on that factor, there's a lot of variables that go into that, Mitch. The age of the car, the internal components on how well they were initially designed, those all do play a factor. So we would discuss with the individual and their car, set up a plan for them that works for their specific needs.
Well, thank you for saying that. So it's not like you can just say if you're a city driver, do it every 3,000 miles, because it depends on the age of the vehicle, even the fluid types that are in there, whether they're synthetics or non-synthetic brands. And so you will sit down and take the time to get to know the knowledge or the use of this consumer and their vehicle and its design and the fluids that are going into it before you make those recommendations. And I guess my question is to our community that's listening is, has their shop taken the time to do that with them ever? And what we're trying to get our community to understand is that quality business is committed to the longevity of their investment, that are not just looking for their car to break down so they can get this big repair bill in, would take the time to help set them up and have them have that knowledge base, and would take the time to interview them about how they're consuming their car, and then make really good recommendations on how to keep that car reliable, like you said. And let's talk about some of the different extreme conditions that we do have, because I want our consumers to know, if you're this type of driving, you might really want to take the time to come in and talk to you about it. So you said towing. A lot of people in our community do that.
Absolutely. Towing is probably the hardest thing you can do to a vehicle. You just put extreme pressures and forces on a vehicle that, even when they're designed for it, do cause the excessive wear and accelerated breakdowns of other components. So they should be maintained more frequently than the owner's manual should suggest.
Well, and then there's a lot of people that think, I just run to the store, and back. I'm doing these little short trips, so I really don't need to change my oil as often. And that's actually sometimes the reverse of reality.
Those are actually the cars we see with the worst types of oils when we do service them on a regular basis, because they're not ever brought up to proper operating temperatures so that the oil can do its job and self-cleanse.
And so we have the hills and the mountains, and some people that not just go up and down from the cooler temperatures to the hotter temperatures in the altitude changes, but these are also loads on these lubricants and fluids.
Well, certainly. And one of the worst would be our 5 o'clock traffic jam. If you got to go through our spaghetti bowl at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you're sitting there, stop, go, and you're not getting the airflow over your vehicle, and especially in our accelerated temperatures that we're having lately.
Am I correct in assuming this? Because I've heard this before. One of the most neglected parts of cars in our region are the air filters.
Yeah, we discussed that the last show, absolutely. A simple air filter can do so much to a car and change the mileage factor and the longevity factor of the car. It makes it so it doesn't have to work quite as hard.
One of the wonderful things about A Master Mechanic most recently is that there's a tremendous expansion going on in your facility. And I want our community to recognize that is a testament of a quality organization that's consumer base is growing and forces the expansion in your present location into several additional spaces within your complex. Let's talk about the services that you're providing and that growth that's happening right now, and what additional services available there because of this expansion.
The expansion has afforded us a place to put a brand new state-of-the-art alignment machine that has an extended wheelbase, so we can even handle the larger trucks, and I think up to about a 38-inch tire. So even when somebody has these four-wheel drives that we alluded to earlier, we certainly can handle their alignment needs as well. In the other shop area, that we've also got the facilities to do custom exhaust work and or repairs needed for any exhaust applications.
Well, and you're a complete facility in just every aspect of the automobile. I think I also want to touch again on this because we skimmed over it once on a prior show, is that you're one of the test facilities for a new guide with Mitchell guides, which is a standard of the industry in automotive repair.
Yes, Mitchell's undergoing a test where Mitchell is the service writing and labor estimating and procedures published to the technicians so that they can better work on your car. And they are undergoing a new test process and changing their layout, and they are using several shops throughout the nation, and we happen to be one of them to help that facility.
Well, and you say several shops. I understood there were about 10 of them in the entire nation that were asked to be a part of this new test program because of your ability to go beyond the average shop and their diagnostic procedures to find potential gaps in their manuals for other shops to be able to use when they're struggling on a problem. I mean, this is the quality of a shop that we want our community to really get to know. Quality staff, certified technicians, the owners of your facility. I mean, just extraordinary members of our community, but committed to perfection and excellence in the automotive repair. We hope that people listening are going, well, you know, I'm really not that happy with my present shop, and that they stopped giving that support to somebody that isn't as worthy as you would be of their business. So let's tell a little bit about how they can get a hold of you, and you said you had some specials that you'd like to offer our listeners.
Yes, if they mentioned today's show when they come in for any of the services that we've talked about doing today, I will be more than happy to extend $25 off of any major services or maintenance schedules.
Well, and one of the things is this inspection process. It's typically an hour labor.
Yes, a comprehensive inspection takes about an hour's labor time. It's roughly about $100, so we'd be more than happy to extend the $25 even to that.
So if you haven't had your car gone through, and if you're getting ready to go on a trip, you really should be doing this anyway. And this time of the year, a lot of people are preparing for that. And you really want somebody with the knowledge base to really give a thorough inspection. This is an opportunity for you to save some money. And then you also mentioned if in there that process of an inspection, or if they come in and just mention the show, and they have any other significant repairs that you're going to do, is at the same time that you'll also extend those discounts on those repairs.
Yes, sir.
So I just want to, again, for them to know how to get a hold of you, phone numbers, where you're located, and websites, et cetera.
Well, A Master Mechanic can be found at 2255 Glendale Avenue. Our phone number is 775-358-6777, and we do have a website at amastermechanic.com with links to info, or you can email me directly at service@amastermechanic.com.
Without a doubt, one of the finest automotive repair shops in Northern Nevada, for that fact, our state and our country. It's a privilege and an honor to share businesses like yours with our community. They do exist, and we have some terrific ones here in Northern Nevada. A Master Mechanic. Give them a call if you're not getting that level of service out of your present shop. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Mitch.